my granddaughter. Got lungs like my daughter. Turn, if you would, to Joshua chapter 3. Starting in verse 1, he said, "Early in the morning, Joshua and the Israelites set out from Shechem, went to the Jordan, where they camped before crossing over. After 3 days, the officers went out throughout the camp, giving orders to the people. When you see the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord your God, and the priests who are Levites carrying it, you are to move out from your positions and follow. Then you'll know which way to go, since you've never been this way before. But keep a distance of about 1,000 yards between you and the Ark. Don't go near it." And Joshua told the people, "Consecrate yourselves, for tomorrow the Lord will do amazing things among you." And Joshua said to the priests, "Take up the Ark of the Covenant, pass on ahead of the people." And so they took it up and went ahead of them. And the Lord said to Joshua, "Today I will begin to exalt you in the eyes of all of Israel, so that they may know that I am with you, as I was with Moses. Tell the priests to carry the Ark of the Covenant when you reach the edge of the Jordan's waters. Go and stand in the river." Joshua said to the Israelites, "Come here and listen to the words of the Lord your God. This is how you will know that the living God is among you, and that he will certainly drive out before you the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Hivites, the Perizzites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, and the Jebusites. See, the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord of all the earth will go into the Jordan ahead of you. Now then, choose 12 men from the tribes of Israel, one from each tribe. And as soon as the priests who carry the Ark of the Lord of all the earth, set foot in the Jordan, its waters flowing downstream will be cut off, and they'll stand up in a heap." So when the people broke camp across the Jordan, the priests carrying the Ark of the Covenant went ahead of them. Now the Jordan is at flood stage all during the harvest. Yet as soon as the priests who carried the ark reached the Jordan and their feet touched the water's edge, the water from upstream stopped it flowing. It piled up in a heap, a great distance away at a town called Adam, in the vicinity of Zarethan. And while the water flowing down to the Sea of Arabah, or the Salt Sea, was completely cut off. And so the people crossed over opposite Jericho. And the priest who carried the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord stood firm on dry ground in the middle of the Jordan, while all of Israel passed by until the whole nation had completed the crossing on dry ground. Let's pray. Lord, we thank you for the day that you've given us and the blessings. We thank you for your word and the opportunity to study. Guide us in all things. Help us to apply it in our lives today. In your Son's name. Okay, last week we were looking at Joshua chapter 2. We took a look at the spying out of Jericho. We saw how 2 spies were sent out from Shechem, which we talked about at the foot of Mount Nebo. Joshua did this in secrecy, in contrast to what Moses did, selecting 12, one to represent. He chose 2 in secrecy and sent them over there for a military mission. It was there to get specific information on Jericho as he was about to attack that city. Jericho, as we discussed, was a walled city. It was a city that was based at a large oasis. And we saw how desert the place really is, contrary to my imagination, probably maybe yours too. It was also a major crossroads because everything could run nice and easy. You could walk nice and easy from north to south down the Jordan Valley and the Dead Sea Valley. So it was easy that way, and then it was right at the northern edge of the Dead Sea, and so it was the best place to cross from east to west as you were to go up into the mountains in a couple different places toward Jerusalem or to the east towards the Ammonites and the peoples over that way. Had lots of fords there too to make it easy to cross the river. We talked about how Rahab hid the spies in her inn or brothel, whatever it was. We're not sure, but the Bible says pretty much that she was a prostitute, so based on that, it was probably a brothel where people stayed. And so they came to the inn to search out information, and that's where they went to look, to get information. You hear a lot of things in places where people gather, so that's what they were doing. The king of Jericho searched for them because they were strangers. Everybody knew when strangers came into town. I remember when Sue and I went to, what was that town in Jamaica? You forgot to. Anyway, went to this town in Jamaica, and we drove over the mountains, dropped down the hill, and we drove into town, and it was Friday afternoon. As we drove in, we went from one end of the town, KFC, the only place to eat, was on the far end of town. Of course, everybody's walking the streets and it's bumper to bumper. By the time we got to KFC, they already knew we was coming. Santa Cruz. That's it? Yeah, he's been there many times. And then you got the little KFC sign over here that says, but, matter of fact, my wife thought that ramshackle place with that little KFC sign was the KFC. But anyway, the point was, we were strangers. It was obvious we were in town and everybody knew it. And this is what the case was here. So the king of Jericho is out searching for them, trying to find them, and she hides them on her roof among the stalks of flax that are out drying on the roof from the harvest. We already know this is harvest time. We just talked about that in the reading today. And they promised to save her and her house because she saved them. She makes a profound statement, which I'm going to read it all, but a couple of key things, because this is the message that went back to Joshua. He sent 2 spies to find out, are we ready? What's going on? Here's what he got. She said, I know the Lord has given the land to you. Oh, Joshua says, great. The people already know it. A great fear has fallen on us. They were afraid. They were already losing. We have heard, we talked about the 2 different things. One was about the kings being defeated and coming out of the Red Sea, crossing the Red Sea. And everyone's hearts or their courage melted. She said, your God is the God in heaven and on earth. And the Lord has given the whole land into our hands, is what Joshua said when he heard that. So that was the message that he got. The reason he sent the spies out for that. Today we're going to move on, and we're to chapter 3 with crossing the Jordan River. As I said, this quarter I'm doing something I haven't done, and I'm trying to make it more real, more personal, or whatever, because, first of all, I had the privilege of going there with several from here last year, and in the process of that, I realized all my imagination was wrong. And so I thought it was interesting, so I thought we'd take some pictures, and I found some things to kind of show you what we're dealing with and what they were dealing with. This is Google Earth, and it's a little better today because we're live, not taking pictures. But basically, you'll recall right over here is Mount Nebo. They came down, and the mountain stayed in this region right here, which is where Shittim was, which is the wood tree. It's the grove of those trees, acacia trees. And then today, we find that the Bible says they moved from there in the first verse to where? To the Jordan River. Well, they crossed over, came out of that to the Jordan River across from Jericho. What you have is a place right here, which is actually a crossing today. There's a bridge there that goes into the country of Jordan. It's a checkpoint. And this particular area right here across from Jordan is where many fords were and are, where you can cross the river. And so there is where they were headed, and of course there's Jericho over to the west there. As you can see, it's not right on the river, it's a little bit off, which it is. The reality is, when you look at Jericho here, Jericho, the walled city, is right here where this little deck sits. You see that? This is all, you see how green it is? That's the oasis. And right in here is where the walled city was. Alright. I'm going to flip over that. Okay, next thing to show you is, I got another map in case that one didn't work and you couldn't read it. If you'll recall, here's Mount Nebo, they came down into the place of Shittim, and right here's where they cross over Jericho. They're going to stay at Gilgal when they get across. Of course, we'll talk about that next week. We're not going to talk about it. We're just talking about the crossing today. So this is basically where they're located here in this particular conquest. All right, now for some other photos. This is what the Jordan River looks like, the Jordan River Valley. We showed you some pictures and whatever, how barren and how wide it is, but the actual river valley is a small cut that goes down through here. As you go through the valley or whatever, it's not too deep in a lot of places during most of the time. where Syria is today, out here in Hermon and up past the Sea of Galilee. All that water comes down because it goes to the Dead Sea where it goes nowhere. So it all comes down, every bit of that water comes down into this one river. It comes down through here. So when the harvest comes, that's also the time when the snow is melting in all the mountains. So you get all this water racing down this river, and suddenly it's not as peaceful and tranquil and fruitful as it could be. This is what it looks like up close. Another photo of it. This is what it looks like during flood stage. Thanks to the internet. What it looks like during the flood stage. This is what they would have been seeing. This is the Jordan River here during the flood stage. And you can see that it's pretty tumultuous. And we're not talking about a few spies or somebody skilled or whatever trying to swim across it. Who goes across? Everybody. When I say everybody, I mean sheep, cattle, tents, backpacks, wives, children, everything. Now, if I can figure out how to stop this thing. And so that's basically what you're going to see happening here as it goes across. And then the last picture is this. This is the bridge at that crossing. I told you it's a checkpoint or whatever into Jordan. This is the bridge. If you'll notice, you see the river down below. That's the way it is most of the time. You see how all the trees and all that's been flattened? Look how wet it got. All the way to the top of that bridge. There's the bottom of that bridge up there. That's how this is when it comes across. So what they would have encountered is not the nice peaceful valley, but they would have had it where the water's all the way up to the bridge actually crosses in this large ravine, so to speak. So this is basically what you're looking at when you're looking at the situation we are discussing today in Joshua chapter 2. Okay, so as we go on, we look at Joshua chapter 2. The first thing is, we said that they were camped over, and I probably should let that map up. Probably will do. They're camped over here. Okay. Technology. They were camped over in here, where we were talking about, at the foot of Mount Nebo. And the Bible says then after 3 days, the orders went, they moved over to the Jordan River, and they stayed there for about 3 days. So the people of Jericho, do you think they knew they moved up on them? Absolutely. They knew they were there. What did they think? They were afraid, but they were not too afraid at that particular moment because there was a little defense they had. What was that? The Jordan River. They hadn't got to their walls yet. They couldn't cross the river. You saw how flooding it was. Almost people were trapped on the other side. And it's like, okay, they can't get to us here because of the water. So they were trying to figure out still what they were going to have to do to defend themselves. But basically, they had a little bit of comfort there. The Bible says after 3 days, the orders went out. The first order is when you see the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord your God. And I like the way it does that. What's he talking about? Box? No. Yes, it is a box. But no, what he's really trying to say is the throne of God, God your leader, is sitting on his throne, and here he is when you see the throne of God and God moving out the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord your God. When you see this, then he tells them that you are to move out and follow. How close? 1,000 yards, half a mile back. That's how much 1,000 yards is. That's 3,000 feet. That's over half a mile. So they were saying half a mile back when they followed him. what you have here and what is the description is, have you ever seen how the king rides in a parade or a procession? He rides on his throne, with poles in the throne, and people carrying him. You ever seen that? Guess what we're seeing here? The priest, 4 people with the poles, carrying the seat of God, with God sitting on it, and he is a half a mile in front of them, leading them. So when you see this, basically this procession of all of God's people, with God at the front, God leading them. So he says, when you see this, this is what's going to happen. So tonight, consecrate yourself. What does that mean? Let's consecrate. Separate, like sanctify, make yourself holy. That means cleanse yourself, prepare yourself, set your mind on it. A lot of times we talk about meditation. Get yourself in the mind, because it's not about me anymore. It's not about all this. We've got a mission here. We're about to follow God. Get yourself in the right position to follow after God, your King. It's the one that's going to lead you. Be prepared to do this. Go consecrate yourselves, because not only that, tomorrow something's going to happen, and it's going to be amazing. He tells them flat out, it's going to be amazing tomorrow. He already knows God's going to do great things, and he knows, and so he tells them it's going to be amazing. He's going to wow you. So we find he does that, tells them that, and gives those orders. Then he gives orders to the priest. He tells them to take up the ark of the covenant and pass ahead of the people. What does that mean? Where was the ark of the covenant? In the tent? Where? Where is the ark located when they're in camp? In the middle of the camp. Because all the tribes, if you remember, from ever since they came out and were in Mount Sinai, they were directed on how to station the camp, with different tribes on all sides of them, and in the middle was God. Okay? Their king. See, this is what God's trying to portray as their king. And later we saw how that went downhill with Saul and everything else. But here we are, and so here he says, all right, his orders to the priest, he says, all right, bring up the Ark of the Covenant, go through the group, and bring it out to the front of the direction we're going. Bring it to the front, bring it to the river. So he has them to go out from the center of the camp to there. Then, verse 7 says, and the Lord said to Joshua, today I'll begin to exalt you in the eyes of Israel. I want to talk about that part of it for just a minute. You see, up until then, who was Joshua? He's Moses' number 1, right-hand man, wasn't he? Well, besides Aaron, but he was his military leader. But he was not in charge. He was Moses. I wouldn't say how many are Alabama fans. We've got a lot of folks from Mississippi. So. But how many have if you think about it, remember when Bear was the coach at Alabama? Remember what happened to the next coach? Never as good. What happened after Spurrier left? You know, nobody is the man. Now all of a sudden, Joshua has to step up into Moses. One of the most powerful leaders, the only leader that these people know, because all of them have died off except for a couple of them. And so Joshua has to step up, and God says, Joshua, I'm going to exalt you. I'm going to lift you up and put you in the same position, just like I did Moses. So these people here are going to know that you're my man. That's what he's trying to tell them. So he says that he's going to exalt him in the eyes of people, and he's going to demonstrate it with him, just like he did Moses. You see? So Joshua gave the orders to the priest, and then he tells the people, this is how you're going to know. How do you know he's in charge? Because I'm going to tell you before it happens what is going to happen. And then we're going to find that he's going to go out there, and at his command, God is going to stop the waters. It wasn't Joshua that stopped them, just like it wasn't Moses that stopped the part of the sea. But the people knew that Joshua would have the same power, the same connection with God that Moses had. And when he stepped out there, he was going to demonstrate to them that he was speaking for God. And so he was going to go out there and he was going to part the waters, and God would do exactly what Moses said to do at that particular moment. So both, and this is the same thing, he dried up the water, which is the same thing Moses did at the Red Sea. In both cases, God demonstrated that he would lead and he would preserve. Remember, they were all racing out of Egypt, and they were about to die, and God said, I'm in charge, I'm in control, and he made this, and he said, this is my leader, and he fought, did what he says, and then he parted the Red Sea. He demonstrated that he was in control of everything. You didn't have to do anything, you just had to do what he said. You just had to follow it. That's exactly what he's saying here again, is now that they're about to enter into the land of Canaan. So they left Canaan by way of the Red Sea, and now they're entering by the way of the Jordan River. All right. So the next thing God did is he demonstrated that he's going to be with his people. You go down in verse 9, and he starts saying, come here and listen to the words of the Lord. This is how you will know. Okay? You will dry up the Jordan just like he did the Red Sea. They'd heard about it. The parents and grandparents had talked about it. The whole world in that area knew about it. And he goes on and says he'll defeat the Canaanites just like he did the Egyptians. Mighty army of the Egyptians, he destroyed them. He's going to do the same thing against the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Hivitites, the Perizzites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, and the Jebusites. I started to get a little map and show you where all those people were at. But you know what? I get you 10 different maps and then put them in 10 different places. There's most of them are descendants of Ham through his son Canaan. So they're descendants of Noah, not Shem, which is what the Israelites were descendants of. Most of them were descendants of that, not all of them. The Hittites were an empire that was predominantly up in the Turkey area, but they had populations that lived down throughout here. The Jebusites, if you remember, were located in the city of Jerusalem. David would eventually take them out. The Canaanites, as a general rule, were the majority of the people scattered throughout the land there that they would be dealing with, because in some form or fashion, most of them were connected to them. So it's a large group of people. Then we find that God stops the river from flowing. The Ark of the Covenant of the Lord, it doesn't say that. It says the Ark of the Lord of all the earth went before them. And I think it's important, and I miss this most of the time when I studied it or whatever, that it wasn't just the ark went in front of it. You see, later on, if you remember, Saul was going to make that same mistake. He was going to drag that ark out to win a battle. You remember? Because he thought it was the box. It wasn't the ark that went before him. That was the seat of God with God on it that went out before them as he led his people. And he didn't just lead them. What he did then is he carried by the priest. He's also escorted by 12 representatives, one from each tribe. So you have these priests, these 12 men who step in the water, and we find that the water stops, and they march out into the water, into the river, and they stop there. As soon as their feet touch the water, it stopped flowing. And it says the water was blocked at the town of Adam. Anybody got any idea where that is? Basically, it's about 20 miles north of there. This is not a good map to see that on. We found that out last week. It's right there. Right here where the Jabbok River ties into the Jordan River. There's a place right there. And across from it is the other town that it mentions. It starts with a Z. I'm terrible with names. Most everybody knows me knows that. Zarethan, which means big rock or something. There's a large mountain by itself that just kind of sticks up there. And it's right across from that, which was a major known point, whereas this little community wasn't. And that's why they made reference to that, so everybody knows, oh yeah, you know where that is. So the water was stopped up there about 18 to 20 miles north of where they crossed it, there next to Jericho, up in that particular area. The water was dry all the way across. Now, as we talked, they had about 1 million people or more on on the other side of the river. So we find that the water was blocked there. The priest stood in the middle with who? God. In reality, God was standing in the middle of the river holding the waters back. That's what was taking place. That would be the message when we go over to Jericho. Their God went out in the middle of the river, stopped the river, and said, okay, people, come across. And that's basically what would happen. Then we'd see all of Israel, men, women, children, livestock, furnishings, household goods, things they carried out of Egypt. Remember, they carried a bunch of stuff out of Egypt. Then, that's why they were able to take care of so many different things. So they carried all of this across the Jordan River. In my mind, I always remember that they were getting ready to attack Jericho, so you know who I thought crossed the river? Yeah, I knew the rest of it did, but I was more concerned with the military. You know, they're the ones going to defeat Jericho, right? No, the fact of the matter is, the military didn't do anything here. The people walked across the river. God held the waters back and they all crossed. Right? In doing this, God demonstrated that He was the living God and produced more fear. The Bible doesn't say what the people in Jericho were saying because nobody was there. But if you were in Jericho, what are you thinking?
Well, Scott, one of the things that's kind of interesting about that is, had the river been dammed up, that water would have gone elsewhere, okay, which might have even flooded Jericho. All right? But the Bible says that the water piled up, which is interesting, because water's going to seek its own level. So if you dam it up, it's going to flood the other areas, especially when it's rushing like that. But it would be interesting, their thought process, when the river's now dry and there's not water going anywhere else. That would be baffling within itself, that the water just piled up.
Right. Well, that's the reason when they say up at Adam, when you're talking 20 miles away, you know, there's no water around there. And as you can see from the Google Earth, as we talked about, this is the Judean wilderness where Jesus was tempted for 40 days and 40 nights. It is desert. It is dry. It is inhospitable. Unless you happen to be an oasis like Jericho. It is just not a good place. And in that particular place, it was dry. And the river is gone, literally. As far as they know, there is no river. He stopped it up and it's gone. They don't see it piled up. They don't see anything. It stopped up 20 miles away. Peaked up is the word that English uses. Okay? So how do you think the people of Jericho felt? They had this raging river blocking this horde of people that were coming at them. And now the river stops. Uh-oh. Do you remember the words of Rahab? They melted in fear because of what was the first thing? They had heard that the people had crossed the Red Sea on dry land. Guess what? Step one. They just crossed this raging river, the Jordan River, that they thought was going to protect them on dry land. Don't you think they were melting with fear? Because you know what happened? The next thing that happened, that she said the second thing? They completely destroyed the Ammonite king. If you remember right, there was one of them right in here, another in here, and they had already taken this entire land, all down the river on the eastern shore. East bank, not the west bank. Okay? So they had heard that. So the next thought in their mind was, first, they cross on dry land, just like the Red Sea, and next, complete destruction, just like took place to those other two kings and all their territories. You don't think there wasn't fear in them? Everything, their worst fears were happening to them now. Okay, so just as he had done to the Amorite kings, they could see what was going to happen to them. Furthermore, Israel didn't send an army. What did Israel send? They sent God first. God took care of it. Where was the army? Back helping mom and the kids and the cows get across the river. Guess what? They weren't coming with an army. They were coming with the people. They brought everything they had. When you're in your come to your house with everything they got, guess what? You think they're coming for a while. These people plan to stay. They brought everything with them and all their population. The soldiers weren't worried about fighting. They're back helping their families cross the river, carrying their stuff in. That in itself ought to tell them they knew that this God was going to take care of things, and they were just coming. They're getting ready to move in. P.S. They'd already done it for the Amorites, the eastern side. They already had 2.5 tribes taking over all the cities on that side. So when we look at this, Jericho, those people that were melting in fear, they just put their pants in. You know, they're melting big time. All right. As I always try to do, it doesn't matter if it's Old Testament, New Testament, I always try to say, all right, what's that mean to me? What's that mean to me? That's nice history. It's interesting, and if you're a history person, you really like it. If you're not, you really hate it. I try to do it from geography, not history. It really does the history. I don't want to get into there. But what does that mean to me? One of the key verses I think I want us to concentrate on this, and we've heard sermons on it, I'm sure. Chapter 3, verse 4 says, "Then you will know which way to go, since you've never been this way before." He's not just talking about going into the land, which he is in the big picture, and taking it over, but he's also talking about the specific event that's about to take place. In our lives, when we're born and we come into this world, do we know where we're going? No. Have we ever been this way before? No. How do you live your life? How do you do things? How do you make your choices? How do you make your decisions? The answer is right there. You've never been this way before. Therefore, follow the King. God is on his throne, and he's going to lead and take care of things. What should we do? Follow. We didn't, when I taught in Ephesians, and they talk about the spiritual war and the war and everything, and the armor of God, and I've said it over and over again, all that's defense. There's no offense in it. God doesn't have us for offense. We're defense. All those people just lived. They followed him and brought their stuff and did what he told them, and he provided life. He provided salvation. He defeated their enemies. He provided them food. He provided them protection. So when we look at our lives, we need to think about that same thing. We haven't been this way before. Man has not been this way before. And instead of trying to figure our own way, which incidentally, isn't that what man prides himself on doing? In this country especially, we pull ourselves up our bootstraps. Instead of priding ourselves on that, we need to do what Joshua did, and the people or whatever, and that's let the Lord lead and let the Lord do his thing. He knows the way, and we need to follow that. One other thing that I got out of this is God uses water. He uses water to save. You ever thought about that? They're about to die from the Egyptians as they're trapped up against the Red Sea. They're about to die, and God uses the opening of the water, and they go down into the Red Sea, and God saves them. Is that the way the world views things? No, it's a good way to die. You did the impossible. You did what God said blindly. Didn't know what that was going to do. We see they went in the land of Canaan as they crossed the Jordan River. Follow after God. He walked out the river, and they were there for 3 days, watching the floodwaters run by. They knew what that river looked like. But when God said go, they did. And so God brings them salvation, brings them into the land of promise through the water. We talk about Naaman. God tells him to be dipped in the river 7 times. The muddy Jordan, the way we referred to it. 7 times, dipped in it. In all of these events, did man do anything? No. All they had to do was go into the river, go into the sea, go The act of saving them was done by God. It was a miraculous power from God that did that event, every single case. Let's take that into our lives. We're told to be baptized. Multiple places. Once again, water uses. I've heard some people come up with the idea, whatever, and they say, oh, that's an act, that's a work. Yeah, it is an act. But it's an act of who? God. Just like all those situations, God uses water to save us and bring us into the land of promise. He does the exact same thing, and that is an act or a work or whatever of God, not of man. But in every single case, man had to go into the river, didn't he? What is that an act of? Faith, obedience. Because there is no faith if there is no obedience. It was faith that said, I'm going in the river with that. I don't know when it's coming again. I guess if I was there, I'd have been going, quick, run! But they took all their families and everything across there, trusting, placing their faith that God would keep them safe, that God would bring them into the land of promise. Every single one of those instances, what man did was about faith. What God did was the act of salvation. So a lot of people are trying to say, you believe in the water is saving you. No. The water doesn't do anything. We know that. But we need to understand that that act is by God, not by us. And that's how today it applies to us. We have to, by faith, go into the water just like they did. Follow the God across the river. Let God do his thing, and he would save them and take them into the land of promise. All right, any other comments? Things I missed? Something you want to add?
My favorite verse in all of this is verse 5. And I think it speaks to us now. When he said to all the people, consecrate yourselves. In other words, set yourself apart, get ready, because God is about to do something.
Amen.
That's what we have to do. Get ready to see it.
And as a matter of fact, that's what we do when we become a Christian. We make ourselves holy. We become holy or be sanctified. We are washed. We are cleansed through that. God cleans us up. But that's where the sanctification comes in and set ourselves apart. That's what we need to do. Consecrate ourselves and commit ourselves to him. As she said there, and if you do that and you sit back, God's going to do amazing things. He's done it all through history and he'll do it again today. Sometimes we don't see it. It's way down the road and we look back and say, that was God doing that. We kind of thought we had a hand in it.
That's exactly what you did on the night of Passover, too.
Exactly. Night of Passover. Absolutely. All right. Next week we're going to take a look at chapter 4. They finally get across the river. What are they going to do next?